Right, okay, we're going to be continuing our coverage of the Aberdour Festival that we were covering in the last hour. Now, in the last hour, we were talking about Bands by the Sands. Now we move on to Wednesday, where we looked at Lego trains. Now, it may sound like a bit of a very niche subject, but I think in the next few minutes you'll realise how intriguing and how fascinating the subject of model railways in terms of Lego is actually pretty good. Now, we started off by talking to David Graham, who was the organiser of the event, and we asked him about Lego trains and what was the fascination behind it and why kids were drawn to Lego trains. All that and more that myself and Colin Whitlock were asking him there and then in St Fillan's Church Hall. Now, I'm standing with Colin Whitlock in the kitchen of the St Fillan's Church Hall because there's a biggish event with Lego trains and model railways that are happening next door. And I think the best person to talk to us about this one is David Graham, who is organising this Lego trains event. So, David, welcome to Radio West Fife.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come and talk to you about this.
So, tell us what's this Lego trains event is about.
So this is something I've been interested in Lego and Lego trains for a few years now, and I thought with the Aberdour Festival it was going to be nice to do something for the children to be involved. I sometimes take my Lego trains to model railway exhibitions, and so it's nice at the model railway exhibitions to have children event for children. So I thought with the Aberdour Festival it'd be nice to do the same sort of thing here. So when I moved to Aberdour, I saw this opportunity to do the Lego trains at the Aberdour Festival.
It's quite an interesting twist on the model railway hobby, isn't it, with Lego?
Yeah, I think maybe I shouldn't say this, but real model railway people don't see Lego trains as being proper model railways. They they look down on this because this is for children, not for adults. So people sometimes think, why is an adult sort of playing with trains? But that's what adults do. Adults enjoy playing with toys. And this
event has been going on for quite a few years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think, well, the Aberdour Festival has been going on for maybe 25 or more years, but I moved to Aberdour in 1999 and I started doing this in the year 2000. So I think this is my 12th event I've been doing this, and each year it's getting a little bit bigger and bigger. It's getting frightening how, and it's getting more and more popular. You know, I used to advertise it in some of the local shops, but now I'm trying to maybe not advertise it so much because it's getting quite hectic. At the moment, you saw a few minutes ago, it was quite quiet. I think when we go out from the kitchen, it'll be.
And you don't necessarily have to be interested in model railways. You can also be a Lego enthusiast and still really enjoy this.
Oh yes, because there's trains here, but people come, like there's some people are interested in just Lego on its own. Some people are interested in trains, so you can do whatever you want. Like, not many people have got Lego trains, but people are coming along who've got Lego at home. Most people have got Lego and they come and they build something and they bring something along. And then I'm sure they go home tonight and their Lego will be coming out and they'll be playing with it.
Tell me, David, my experiences of Lego as a child was limited to building houses. Can you sort of fill us in as to when you think Lego changed its sort of whole approach to model building?
Yeah, I think it was when I was young. We had you only had like houses and things, and you used to build things. You used to have the normal sort of bricks, you know, the 2x4 bricks, and you used to build things. And I think people hark back to those days when people had to use their imagination much more than they do now. Today you buy Star Wars sets and you buy Harry Potter sets, and some people think the imagination aspect has come out. But Lego trains, a lot of people come when they see the Lego trains, they say, I never knew Lego did trains. And it was in about the 1960s Lego started producing trains. And they've been sort of a theme which has continued. You know, that's for 50 years now. Lego trains have been going on and they've had their ups and downs. And there is, I think, a little bit of a resurgence now, maybe with some adults being interested and things. So there's,
and even in the 21st century with Facebook, MySpace, and you have all these video games, Lego still has that special connection with the children.
Yeah, I think there was a time, maybe 10 years ago, I think they were feeling Lego, I think, lost direction with all this sort of competition with games and things, and they were having to lay people off. But then I think they went back to the core roots, the sort of building things, and they seem to have actually done very well. They seem to be making horrendous profits at the moment when every other company seems to be struggling. Lego are about the one company that are making enormous profits.
Is it fair to say that you believe Lego has bridged the gender gap? Because when again, thinking back to my own childhood, the boys preferred Meccano then, but to the best of my knowledge, Meccano's no longer around.
Well, yeah, you can get Meccano. I think it's is very popular, but I think Lego tends to be more for maybe for boys. But I'm sure when we go out, you'll see there'll be as many girls as boys there playing with it. And there is rumours that Lego are making a big push, I think, later in the year to bring out sets specifically for girls. That'll be something, that's some top secret information that's come out there, that Lego are going to be producing some special girl sets this year.
Do you think this could attract possible interest into maybe taking up model railway as a hobby in the long term?
It could be. I think that's one of the reasons why I get invited to model railway shows, because I think the organisers there see that this is a sort of entry level for toy trains. You can get like the Thomas the Tank Engine train and things, and they see this as maybe another way up for young people getting into model railways. But I don't think, I think it's separate really. It's people are interested in Lego because it's Lego, and I don't know if it is going to take people forwards to model railways, but it may. I tried to do model railways and I found it too fiddly. So Lego is, it says on the box quite often 12-year-old, so I can cope with that.
Cope with that. Okay, David Graham, thanks very much for coming on to Radio West Fife.
Okay, thanks very much.
That was David Graham, the organiser of Lego Trains, speaking to us in St Fillan's Church Hall kitchen. Now, that's not the end of it, because we were given a guided tour. Colin Whitlock and myself were given a guided tour by Graham shortly after that. So what happened was we went outside the kitchen and we went into the actual church hall, and we actually began with a big table with a big railway track and loads of models. And David's going to take us through all the different tables and stands that were there at Lego Trains in St Fillan's Church Hall for the Aberdour Festival. I'm standing with David Graham, who's going to give us a guided tour of all the displays and stands that there is. So David, take us through this one, which is, I believe, is almost like a life-size railway track.
Yeah. So here we've got a large table, and we've got four lots of sort of loops of track. It looks a bit complicated. We've got two going round in a circle around the outside, and we've got then another two loops in the inside. One of them has got lots of crossings, so the train seems to be weaving in and out. And we've got lots of children all the way around. There's about maybe 20 children all waiting to have a go. And we seem to be having some problems. Some trains are crashing into each other. The children are getting a bit too... I think I'll need to sort them out soon.
Introduce them to the joys of the real railways, basically.
Like real railways, I think, are pretty good. They don't crash as much as they do here.
At least these ones turn up on time as well. But yeah, it seems this seems to be the most. Is this usually the most popular event stand on the event?
Well, there's lots going on. We'll see in a minute. There's other things going on. But at the moment, people are also bringing in models they've made. So people at home have been making models of seaside things. And it's interesting to see what they've done already. As the day progresses, they're going to be more and more. But you can see someone's built a pier, a sort of a seaside pier with amusements on the end. Mm-hmm. And someone's brought a boat and a little harbour scene there. And someone's built a yacht with some wheels on. It's interesting to see what the children's imagination. I can see one across there. They've got a beach and a seaside theme. So it's interesting what the children come up with. Sometimes you think, what can you build? And they come up with lots of different ideas themselves.
How do the children take part in order to make these models? Is it through competitions, or is it through donating the models that they've built?
No, well, they bring them themselves. They make the models at home with their own Lego, and then they bring them here, and then they put them on the layout just to go with the trains. And then at the end, we decide which ones are the winners, which is quite difficult, and then they take them home with them.
David, it's a very impressive outlay, this, but typically if you were starting up today and you're a child, obviously money's not something you've got a lot of. How much would you typically have to pay to get started with something like this?
So you can buy like an oval of track and some trains for about a little over £100 to get you started. But you better not ask me how much the whole of this costs. So there's about 6 trains, lots of track, so that's... I'll let you work out the figures yourselves.
Tell you what, let's move to another stall. And where are we going to be moving to next?
We're going to go to the Mosaic.
Explain to us what that one's about.
The children here have got a big, large base plate, and they've got some instructions on some what we call tiles, 2x2 tiles, and they're following the instructions and they're putting them together to build, to fill it in, and then these are going to come together and we're going to put them together as a mosaic. I don't think anyone knows what they're building just yet, but they're following the instructions. There's lots of blue and various other colours and some white, and we're going to lay it on the floor when they're finished, and it's going to come together as a picture. It's going to be something that they will recognise. People who live in Aberdour will recognise this picture, but I'm not telling you what it is. You'll have to come back in an hour's time and see what it is.
So it's a complete surprise for us. Now, I can see from some of the bricks being used, they're quite very thin Lego bricks, so I take it when you have to dismantle it, it's an absolute nightmare to get off.
It is, yeah. You end up with sore fingers, but there is a special sort of brick separator tool that you can use. I think some of them are in use somewhere. So they are hard to take off, and it's so tonight and the next few nights I'm going to be taking it all apart, because this Lego was provided by a fellow Lego enthusiast. He produced, gave me all the plates and the bricks together. He's let me borrow them. So once we finish this, I'm going to send them back to him. So it's been kind that some different people have helped out in different ways.
And how long does it typically take to build this mosaic? What's the shortest time and the longest time that people have taken to actually build this?
I think it's going to be finished by about 2 o'clock. It's probably going to be finished. We've got 16 large plates to fill in, so by about 2 o'clock it'll be finished. Then we're going to do something else. You haven't got it here yet, but we're going to build a castle. We've got a big tub of yellow bricks, and because it's a seaside theme, we're going to make what I call a sandcastle out of Lego bricks. So the children are going to work together and build a large castle. It's something that maybe when you were young, you never had enough bricks. So hopefully we've got enough bricks to build a large castle. So that'll be something that'll be happening after this.
A sand castle made out of Lego. Anything's possible with Lego, basically.
Yes, that's what it's. Use your imagination and you can do what you want.
I've never ever tried to make a mosaic out of Lego when I was younger, but how easy is it to make a mosaic?
It's really the design of it. It's very difficult. The person who provided the bricks provided also an idea of how to do it, and when I built it, it didn't look very good because the bricks themselves are quite large, and so to make it look good, it's quite difficult. Quite often you have to look at it from a long way away, and so the original design I was given didn't turn out very well, so I thought of doing something else, and I had an idea on something which you will see later what I decided to do. Because of the bricks, I had lots of blue, lots of grey, lots of whites and things, so I decided to do a picture like that, and I had to then try to make it like you have to pixelate it so that you get these 2x2 bricks come out, and then you've got the certain colours, so it's quite difficult to turn out like a photograph into a mosaic. You can get certain computer programs can help you, but it's quite difficult. And then what we're going to build is a picture made by an artist. So I got this artist involved. I asked him if I could use his picture, and so he then has modified his picture and tried to help us to get it so it comes out right. But you'll see it later when it's finished. In about another half an hour, I think we'll be finished. It goes.
Okay, so let's move on. So where are we heading next on our tour?
We'll go to the far corner. The children are building something there.
Right. Okay. So what's happening in the far corner at that table?
Some people came, and a few years ago they were a bit disappointed that they turned up and they didn't realise they were supposed to have brought a Lego model with them. So I had a few bricks at home, which sometimes you get old bricks. Sometimes I've been able to buy Lego at jumbles, at car boot sales and things. So I had some bricks which are scratched and things. So I brought along my old bricks, and children then are able to build things. And so here we've got a table full of old bricks. So various friends have donated their old bricks, and their children now are building things, are having a great time, and they're using their imagination, and if they want to, they can then enter it into the competition, and maybe if they're lucky they might win a prize at the end.
I see. And so this is really the sort of free-form
this
design?
is sort of free, yeah. I think I still would like them to follow this seaside theme, but I don't know. We seem to have some strange looking I wouldn't like to describe what some of the things are, but this looks like like some spaceship type things going on here.
Right, so we've had a look at the freeform Lego table, and there's lots and lots of designs going around here. Now, behind me, there's actually a table full of Lego magazines. Now, I haven't seen any of those for years. I've got a little confession to make to our listener, is that I used to be part of the Lego club when I was a young'un, and I'm amazed that it's actually still going.
Yeah, this is some magazines that a friend gave me. They were just sort of having a tidy up out of the house. So these are some old Lego Club magazines and a few catalogues and things. And they're really here for anyone who wants to can take them. So the Lego Club is still going.
The Lego Club is still going.
Yeah.
And in this magazine, there's basically sort of comic strips with featuring Lego characters and tips on how to make certain Lego models. So this is really for the Lego enthusiast.
I think you know more about it than I do. You must have read it more recently. I tend not to read the Lego magazine. I think it's.
I haven't read a Lego magazine in probably 10 years, and that's probably showing my age.
I think I go on. There's a lot of interest in Lego online, and I tend to go online, and there's various groups sort of discuss things, and so that's where I get my sort of Lego fix from, maybe, rather than buying but getting a Lego magazine provided.
By the magazine, and obviously there's also leaflets on possible trains.
A lot of people ask when they come to a show like this, where can I buy Lego trains? Because you can't see them in the normal, if you go into Tesco's or Asda, you don't see Lego there. So I produced a leaflet. Sometimes I ask Lego for catalogues, and occasionally they respond, and then more often they don't have them, or they don't send them. So my wife thinks I'm a bit silly that I actually spend my time producing a little leaflet for Lego publicity, when they should really be doing their own publicity. You think they've got a larger marketing department than I have. But I produce a little leaflet showing what is available and suggesting that you can buy things from Argos or Amazon and things, and showing the price and what's available. Because a few people, it's interesting, when you've been doing this for several years, people come from the previous year and say, I've now bought a Lego train for Christmas and things. So it's interesting to see how children have, buy these things, and it's build up their collection.
Now, looking at some of the Lego sets from this leaflet, we've got a cargo train, level crossing, passenger train, a train station, a maintenance train, and a freight train. I think my inner child is trying to escape out of my body. I'm tempted to probably...
This will be on your Christmas list now.
I'll put that on my Christmas list, I think, definitely, for sure. So that's the guided tour at the end, really, and it's actually... To be honest, you'd think it's an enthusiast event. It's supposed to be a sort of small gathering, but you'd be amazed when you actually come here how much interest this can attract.
Yeah, there's lots of people. It's getting bigger every year, I think. It started off quite small, and it's getting bigger and bigger. I should mention we got some prizes. So at the end we're going to have a competition, judge the competition. And we got one prize from Asda. So Asda did their little bit. I wrote to them, and they provided one of the sets we're going to give out.
Nice one. And I can see some of them there. I think there's a city set and a Lego racer set, I believe there.
Yeah, there's a fire engine, a police car, a Lego racer, and there's a helicopter. There are 4 prizes, and maybe we'll have something else as well. It's very difficult. It would be nice to give every child a prize, and every child gets a little certificate to say they've taken part. So it's nice for the children to be able to take something home with them and feel that what they've done has been appreciated.
Right, so David Graham, thank you very much for taking this guided tour around the Lego train event here at St Fillan's Church Hall.
Okay, thanks very much.
That was David Graham, organiser of the Lego Trains event at St Fillan's Church Hall for the Aberdour Festival, and he was taking myself and Colin Whitlock for a wee guided tour of the various stands from Lego models to Lego trains to Lego magazines and to Lego mosaics, even if that's possible. Right, we're continuing with our Aberdour Festival coverage, and we're going to be switching over to Thursday now, where I went to St Columba Church Hall in Aberdour to see some flowers. And no, I'm not a gardener or a flower enthusiast, but I just wanted to see what the fuss was all about with the Flower Festival. And I was speaking to Anne Chadwick and Jean Cook about Flowers Festival and flowers. This is one of two churches that the Flower Festival takes part, doesn't it?
Yes, there's St Fillan's Church of Scotland at the other end of the village. Very much, this is a small church, and that is reflected in the flowers and the festival. And we depend more on people bringing flowers, and we do our best.
What kind of donations do you get for flowers? Is it just from general donators, or is it from your own gardens as well?
Mostly from our own gardens this year. That was why we were all horrified when the storms came. We were depending on flowers coming ready to arrange, and it was rather nerve-wracking to wonder how many flowers could survive.
And particularly with the rain the day before we were going to be arranging the flowers in the church. Pouring with rain all day, and the poor flowers that were still to be cut are looking very sorry for themselves in the gardens.
Well, at least they must have had a decent drink, at least.
Yes. Yes.
Now, this is not the first time that the Flower Festival that's been happening. I believe this has been happening for about 10 years or more.
Well, in St Fillan's, it's been happening for very many years, I think. But in St Columba's, it's been happening since 1997.
Why did they decide to split the festival between the two churches?
Well, really, a lot of the flowers were becoming faded or actually died. They needed to be replaced, but after about 4 or 5 days. So St Fillan's, the main part of the Flower Festival was at the beginning of the week anyway. And so we thought that we could carry on from where they leave off and have the last half of our Aberdour Festival having a flower festival in St Columba's.
Now, I'm not a gardener myself, so I'm not particularly knowledgeable about flowers, but give us an appreciation of how much care do these flowers require in order to keep them up in the best state possible.
Well, I'm not one of the ones who does it, but a very great deal. They've got to be, depending on the weather, they've got to be kept, obviously, enough water in all the vases or wherever they are, and they've got to anything that dead has got to be removed. It's got to be looked at carefully, every vase, every day.
Yes, as Jean says, they have to be fed and watered like all of us. But the church, fortunately, being so high and cool, it's a very good environment for keeping them. It never gets so hot in here that they wilt.
What's the response been like for the Flower Festival in your time volunteering here?
For volunteering, we don't have a shortage of people at all. There are plenty of people. It's a small church, and there are plenty of people who are willing to come along, and only too pleased to do it.
And because it's a small congregation, people know each other.
Anne Chadwick and Jean Cook, thanks very much for coming on to Radio West Fife to talk about the Flower Festival.
Thank you very much indeed.
That was Anne Chadwick and Jean Cook talking about the Flower Festival at Aberdour Festival. Right, we're going on to our final event now. This is the Poems and Pints event. Now, this was the last event in the Aberdour Festival programme, and in my opinion, this event actually summed up the Aberdour Festival. Practically the entire village came to Aberdour Hotel, where the Poems and Pints was being held, and they came together to enjoy a mixture of prose, a mixture of poetry, and a bit of verse and a bit of song, and it was absolutely incredible. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a sample of some of the music that was being played, and it's actually very, very good. So let's hear some of the songs, and we'll be speaking to Yard of Ale shortly after that. So here's some of the samples from the Poems and Pints evening at the Aberdour Festival.
Got you another song off a new album, this one called Flower in the Snow. We've done this a couple of times, so we should get it right. Remember a guy I met recently called Alan Taylor, an Englishman. He recorded by lots of different people, including Gavin Lindsay. It's pretty much an English folk song. You may have seen the video we did to this song in the background. Oh, he's changed the key to the correct one. Yeah, it's a song called Flower in the Snow. Just a moment of passion, like a mountain stream, crystalline and clean, tumbling and crashing. It was something special, few will ever know. Something out of line, standing out of time, a flower in the snow. He was just a wanderer. Stole my hair, stole my coat, but that's alright till I go. She's handsome, she is pretty, she's a belle of Belfast City. She's a corker, 1, 2, 3, please won't you tell me who is she? Albert Mooney says he loves her, all the boys are fighting for her. Knocking the door, they're ringing the bell, hello my true love, are you well? Out she comes as white as snow, rings on her fingers, bells on her toes. Old Danny Morrissey says to die, she couldn't get the fellow with the roving eye. Hey! My ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pulled my hair and stole my coat, but that's alright till I go home. She's handsome, she is pretty, she's a belle of Belfast City. She's a corner, 1, 2, 3, please look at me, who is she? Hey!
Some great music there from Poems and Pints. That was the last event of the Aberdour Festival this year. Now, not only there was also listening to some of the music there was also poems as well. I also managed to get a little chat with a couple of the hosts of the evening, which included Colin Mackenzie, who was part of a band called Yard of Ale, which provided a couple of the songs that we just heard. Yard of Ale is made up of Peter McGillan, Alistair McDougald and Colin Mackenzie, and we talked about Poems and Pints and some of their latest work, including one of their songs appearing in an upcoming Irvine Welsh movie. You're listening to Radio West Fife, Channel 1, your number one station in the Queen Margaret Hospital, and I'm standing outside in the, well, what should I say, the archway of the Aberdour Hotel for Poems and the Pints, the last event in the Aberdour Festival for this year. Now, I'm standing next to three gentlemen. They're in a band called Yard of Ale, and one of them is one of the hosts of the Poems and the Pints tonight is Colin Mackenzie. He's also standing with Peter Gillan and Alistair McDougall. So, guys, welcome to Radio West Fife.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello. Radio West Fife Roadshow.
We certainly do a few of them. So, just explain to us, for those who don't know, what is Poems and the Pints all about if they don't guess it from the title?
Poems and Pints is an event that, as part of the festival, and the idea is that local people can turn up and they can sing a few songs or recite a few poems, and if they do that, then there's a free pint at the bar for them. So it's Poems and Pints. I should have donated a poem if that was the case. Absolutely, yeah.
And you've had a selection of poems and songs here, and mainly it's from people from around Aberdour, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. People from exotic places like Kirkcaldy have been known to frequent the place. But no, it tends to be local people, and all very talented, and it's a great night.
It's a great atmosphere here tonight because you really see that the village comes together for this final event at the festival.
Well, I think particularly because it's actually raining at the moment. It's a tribute. It's a tribute to their stamina or their foolishness, but they've turned out in their droves, and good on them. It's great, yeah.
I know, good on them, and it was good on the gentleman that gave me the brolly to hold whilst it was absolutely wet. I could have gone home like a drowned rat, to be honest.
We like to look after foreigners. Our foreign visitors. Was it Glenrothes or somewhere you're from?
So, Poems and Pints, we're on the break at the moment, and we've got a cracking second half to come up, haven't we?
Yes, we've got pipers, we've got poets, we've got all sorts of things happening. We've got some of the kids that took part in the big event earlier on in the week. Real youngsters, but very talented, and they'll be doing their thing as well. So it's really great fun.
Moving away from Poems and the Pints, you've released an EP, or a promo, I suppose, quite recently, Tracks from the Shack. So just tell us about that.
Well, when you say it's an EP, that's harking back to the old days extended play when you got 4 tracks or something. This is the full shilling. I think there's about 13 or 14 tracks in it, and it's a right mix of tracks. It's got a wee bit of a country feel to it. I'm rather hoping that you'll maybe play some of the tracks on the station, so maybe your people can make up their mind whether they like it or not. But we like it. It's a right mix of tracks. Some Americana, just a good mix of tracks. Hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Just a very good mix of tracks, and one of them is actually going to appear in an Irvine Welsh movie quite soon.
Not in this particular CD, the one from our previous CD, which is very much more Scottish, because I guess we really are a folk group, although we've gone a little bit country on this new one. But it's one of the tracks that we did on that, the Wild Mountain Time. We actually got an email back in January, which I really thought was a hoax call, to be honest, where this producer from Canada asked if he could use this particular track for the film Ecstasy, which is Irvine Welsh's latest offering, and it premieres in September at the Toronto Film Festival and goes on general release after that. So once I found out that yes, it was going to happen, I grabbed his contract with both hands and signed it. And who knows, it could be a pension plan.
Oh, definitely, yep. And apparently, Irvine Welsh is involved. We're willing to do anything for him, and the glory to the high bees, anything like that. But he appears to have settled in this one. It was good. And incidentally, we invited Jim Jeffries along tonight, but he said, sorry, I can't manage.
Well, I think he probably saw what's going on up in the clouds, so he probably didn't bother.
Yeah. Oh, the rain's good for them up here. It's the only time they get a wash, apparently.
I believe, now, moving back to the film for 2 minutes, 1 minute and 20 seconds is how much of that song's going to be. That's quite a sizable amount.
I'm really impressed that they're going to use it for as long as that. As we don't really know what scene it's going to be used in. Obviously, it's about the club culture and some drug culture in Edinburgh. But I do know I've seen stills of quite a nice picture on Arthur's Seat with the crags in the background, with the two main characters sort of canoodling. I'd like to think that it was in the background of that, but who knows? It could be anything with Irvine Welsh.
We'll find out in September, I believe. But moving back to yourselves, you've got any other gigs or any projects in the pipeline?
Yeah, we're performing at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in the Guildford Arms, and we're there for 10 nights. And it's a free event, and it's the Caledonian Folk and Blues Festival. Caledonian Brewery put the money up for it. And we host it, we open the show, close the show, and every night we've got a different guest, so it's a cracking 10 nights, starting on the 18th of August.
That's right, yeah. This will be our 17th year. It's quite stamina sapping, I have to say, 10 nights in a trot, but it's great fun, and the atmosphere is fantastic. Absolutely great.
So it's from the 18th till the 27th of August, or until we drop dead, whichever happens first.
All right, okay, and speaking of plugs, how can we buy your CD, shall we say?
The CD is available on our website, which is www.yardofale.net, and it can be bought from there. Hopefully we'll have it on the various different sites that sell these things, but I've not done that yet. I'm doing it now from our own site, and it's selling pretty well. I've sold a couple to Canada already, some to Australia, and quite a good number to Scotland and our usual people. So, but generally, it can be bought on the website.
True international exposure, then.
Yes.
Whilst we're waiting for Poems and Pints to recommence, guys from the Yard of Ale, Colin Mackenzie, Alistair McDougall and Peter Gillen, thank you very much for coming on to Radio West Fife for us.
Our pleasure, thanks a lot.
Yep, thanks for asking us.
It's the Radio West Fife Roadshow!
Great bunch of characters there. Yard of Ale at Poems and Pints for the Aberdour Festival. And there we go. That was some of the highlights from this year's Aberdour Festival. Now, fingers crossed that Radio West Fife may be able to cover next year's Aberdour Festival. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that one. Keep watching this space.